Emotional unavailability, the armor that keeps you alone. And I say this with all of the humor and love in my heart, but the reality is, folks, that emotional unavailability is not a strength. It's sort of like self protection, wearing a nice leather jacket. It looks real good on the outside, like you look strong, you look svelte, but what's happening on the inside is that you're not quite as secure as everyone might think. Okay. And so if you have ever been told that you are emotionally unavailable, if you think you might be with someone emotionally unavailable, then this episode is for you, folks. I am going to be going through 6 different profiles for emotional security. This episode is the first of them with emotionally unavailable. So grab a journal, get ready to dive in. Are you ready? I sure am. Here we go. Okay. So, first things first, you don't build strength by closing off, right? If you go to the gym, you want to build some muscles, right? The intent is to get stronger, to be more flexible. And the only way that you get stronger and be more flexible by going to the gym is by doing it consistently. Emotional work is the same. You want to get emotionally stronger. You want to be emotionally more flexible. Yes, you want to respond better to people. The way that you do that is by consistently being in the emotional arena. You picking up what I'm putting down? Write that down. Emotional work is like being at the gym. If you can handle consistency in one place, mira, I'm sure you can handle it in the other, okay? So, I love to tell a story in these episodes, and this one is no different. We're going to have a popular character today, and that's Wolverine. So, for those of you who know Wolverine out there, let's think like last, movie version that I recall of them, him, Deadpool. You know which one I might be referring to. If not, no worries. I've got you. I'm going to tell you a little bit in a nutshell about what's going on with Wolverine. As I do that, because Wolverine is our emotionally unavailable character today, I want you to start to notice some of the facets of that character's humanity. I get he's a mutant, but stay with me here, okay? That character. And I really want you to put yourself in the shoes of that character, or start to consider if there's someone in your life that you think might be struggling with emotional unavailability, start to put them in that character space. Yes, why are we going to do this? Because I want you to have some more perspective on what emotional unavailability looks like. That's one. I also want you to understand why it is a normal part of humanity so that you do not seek to invalidate it. It is a normal response to certain things happening in a person's life. And so, again, as I tell you this story, I want you to lean in. I want you to grab a journal. I want you to take notes because it's going to change the way you do things and see things. And that is exactly what we want. I want you in the emotional arena. Let's go. First things first, I want you to think about Wolverine as a character, okay? Wolverine's got strength, right? Muscles for days. We've got claws. We've got a growl that often happens, right? We've got this constant need, in case you didn't notice, to be alone. And so with this, we've got a guy who's seen too much. He's lost too much. Wolverine's got a history. He's got a past. You might notice that you have a history, that you have a past of things that were overwhelmingly difficult for yourself or for someone else, right? Someone, if you're thinking of someone else as emotionally unavailable in this space. But in the case that you are overwhelmed, much like Wolverine, who's felt too much, seen too much, everything that has to come in with feeling, with actual emotion, with feeling close to anyone in particular, and I want you to tag that, with feeling close and connected to someone, ends up feeling dangerous. Closeness and connection ends up feeling like a dangerous threat. And so what ends up happening? Isolating, pushing away, pushing everyone away, even to the point that you think about Wolverine's ability to heal constantly, okay? Wolverine doesn't even get time to be with his pain. His body's like, nope, we've got to pick up, we've got to move on to the next thing. And I want you to pause there. Are you the human being who doesn't even pause to feel your pain? Do you constantly pick up and move to the next thing? which means, call me crazy here, folks, but what it means is that if you don't get any time to actually acknowledge the pain and the difficulties that you have been through, are you getting the opportunity to learn from them? Now, I can't answer that question, but I certainly hope that you can as you explore this moment. Are you always moving? Are you always fighting? Are you always alone? And here's the thing is you might have a partnership, you might have a family, you might have a bustling business. You might be surrounded by a million people, but at your core, what I want to know is do you feel alone any part of the time? Are you comfortable in your solitude, or do you feel incredible loneliness? Some of the time, if not most of the time. Some of what I'm saying are facets of emotional unavailability. It's a challenge to connect because connection and closeness is often perceived as a threat, much like in the case of our character Wolverine. So, as you continue to lean in, that's what I want you to be remembering, that this is what emotional unavailability looks like in the real world. It's what it looks like in real life. You keep yourself safe, but you keep everyone else out. You bury your pain under what you're supposed to do. This is my purpose. This is my job. This is what I do. This is who I am. But at the end of the day, you're so busy protecting everyone from the storm that you don't have anybody to protect you. And that often includes yourself. And for those of you who are saying, no, 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 my leather jacket is pretty strong. I know how to protect myself. Again, I ask you, what's the cost of protecting yourself if you are also isolating yourself? What's the cost of protecting yourself if you are also disconnected from the people you care about or can't connect to someone you desperately wish you could care more about? Quick break for a sec. If Empowered Human is offering you something valuable about courage, healing, belonging, or love at your core, you may want to work with me. In particular, if you know of or identify as a high achieving man, and I say this quite seriously because if you don't, I'm going to drive you up a friggin' wall. High achiever that has leveled up in every arena except your relationship with yourself or your relationships with others. Visit empoweredhuman.love for more on how you can level up in your relationships with one of our Empowered Human intensives. Intensives understand the value of your time. Of the 3 that I offer, Walk into Courage covers a month's worth of weekly sessions in just 2 hours. Dive into Courage is a 3-day intensive that can cover up to 6 months worth of sessions. And Ascend into Courage is a year-long program to give you the skills and the network you need to level up for lifelong emotional security. When it comes to leveling up in your relationships, I got you. Head to empoweredhuman.love for more. But for now, back to the episode. The truth is, and we say this all the time in my field, that you can't heal what you won't feel, that you need to feel your feelings. And in the case of Wolverine, most certainly, there are some older wounds here that make it very difficult to get close and connect. And it makes emotional unavailability the safest way of existing. But I want so much more for you than just safety. I want you to thrive. I want you to feel genuinely secure, excuse me, everywhere you go. And so the reality is we look at this character, and I want you to put yourself in the shoes of this character as well as, Wolverine, maybe much like you, has the body of a fighter, has the look of a fighter, has the energy of a fighter. But he's also a man in this case, a human being, again, mutant, for those of you who are going to get touchy about this, right? But a being most certainly who is constantly running from himself. It's why he cannot bear to be around other people because the closeness feels so uncomfortable. The connection feels so threatening that he isolates, buries it under drinking, and keeps himself away. So the fact is that That is actually where a lot of us begin with emotional unavailability. And I actually want to validate your experience. If you say, man, Nina, this sounds like me, that is so human. You are a product of your environment. You've been busy responding to what you've experienced. And I'm not here to judge you if you are identifying as emotionally unavailable. What I am here to do is say, hey, is that where you want to be? Is it fulfilling for you? Do you want more than isolation and feeling lonely when you're in a crowded room? Do you want to go deeper and have closeness and connection? Yes, to yourself, absolutely, as well as to others. Do you want more than just being armored up, exhausted constantly, secretly wishing that you could connect to someone, but you can't? If you do want more, grab your journal and let's lean in some more. Now, here's a little Easter egg for this episode. If you made it to this point and you actually want the top 3 profiles on Instagram and social media that I recommend for you to start following if you're struggling with emotional unavailability, and you say, Nina, I want to move to that next step, which is emotional awareness. If you're my human being out there who says, I want to move to the next step, 100%, that's me, let's go. I want you to DM me on Instagram at Empowered with Nina. Nina, can I get those profiles? And I will send them to you. I'm not gonna, blitzkrieg you with a bunch of information. I'm gonna send you the top 3 profiles that I recommend you start to follow in order to trigger your curiosity further. I want your curiosity to blow up in the best way possible for you, because that's what's gonna get you starting to open yourself up. Okay. And so, with that said, there's your Easter egg for this episode. Otherwise, we have a quiz on this. Yes, the emotional security quiz, which is 100% what I'm going to ask you to take. But right now, I can tell you, if you are resonating with emotional unavailability in your life or in the life of someone you love, there are 3 steps that I recommend you start to take. The first one is get curious, okay? I've already told you the Easter egg of this episode, which is DM me at Empowered with Nina. I will tell you what profiles I want to invite you to start to put into your algorithm so that it starts to open you up slowly but surely toward emotional awareness, okay? So I want you to get curious. You're here for a reason. If you're out there and you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to DM you, Nina. What can I do right now? I want you to write down, what if things were different? Would I be open to change? Because if you would, you're already on your way toward greater emotional awareness, and my hat is off to you. Okay. Write that down. What if things were different? Would I be open to change? That's your get curious mantra. Okay. Second thing that I recommend is that you start to notice when things are off. Emotionally unavailable people are constantly saying, the world is against me. The storm is always here. There's nothing I can do about it except fight the rain. I don't need you to do that. Yeah. I want you to find comfort in the discomfort. I want genuine emotional security at your core, which means you're not trying to fight off the storm, right? You're not trying to fight the rain. You're trying to learn how to weather it. Okay. We're not drowning it under alcohol or drugs or sex or relationships or whatever it is that you might be drowning your feelings in. We're learning how to feel those feelings. So, again, step 2, I want you to start to notice when things are off. Do you pull away when things are off, when they're uncomfortable? Do you make yourself really, really busy? Do you numb out with alcohol instead of leaning in? Folks, just noticing is the way to start. Okay, just noticing is a win. So that's my step 2 for you. First, get curious, then start to notice when things are off, how that shows up and expresses itself for you. Okay. If you're going to continue to lean in, step 3 that I recommend is to start to pause when you're feeling uncomfortable. Most of us in emotional unavailability, it's going to be very, very difficult, maybe even near impossible for you to say, Nina, you want me to pause? I'm so used to pushing things away immediately. Just like take one beat the next time you notice you're uncomfortable, just one breath in and then move forward. It starts small, folks. I'm not asking you to do anything monumental just yet, but this is where you have to start if you're going to be doing this emotional arena work, this emotional growth, which I absolutely want for you. if it's what you want. The tools that I'm giving you are just like at the gym where you're doing your reps, you're getting stronger. These are emotional reps that I am giving you. I want you to do them multiple times a week. For those of you who like, give me a number, Nina, 2 to 3 times, okay? 2 to 3 times this week. I want you to get curious. I want you to notice when something is off, and I want you to pause in your discomfort. I want you to take that breath in because this is the beginning of your emotional fitness practice, and you matter. So let's go. Let's do this thing. For those of you who are like, Nina, I really like hands on learning. Can you give me that quiz one more time? 100%. I don't want you to stay locked behind this armor, right? I don't want you to constantly be wearing this leather jacket over this pretense of emotional security. I want you to be genuinely secure at your core. And so we have an emotional security quiz. The link will be in the show notes. Go take that. Take the quiz. It will walk you through some questions and you will discover which profile you're truly in. It will tell you again what these next 3 steps are. And if you're like, Nina, I want to do more work, I want to really, get a handle on this, you can connect with me. We can have a more personal conversation that actually includes the context of your life. But even if you never listen to anything with me after this episode, please take a moment right now to just take a breath on in. Yes, I'm asking you to pause in this discomfort and not rush on to the next thing. Did you do it? My hat's off to you if you did. 10 points. And I want you to lean in here. Write it down or take a mental note. What are you taking with you from this episode on emotional unavailability? On the fact that there are actually 6 different profiles, and we have a quiz for that. You can figure out where you belong and what your next 3 steps are. I went over 3 steps for emotionally unavailable individuals in this episode. I also told you a story about this character, Wolverine, who struggles with emotional unavailability. I told you about the ways in which he expresses that emotional unavailability, and I asked you to put yourself in the shoes of this character. I am asking you to level up by leaning into your edge and really taking notice and getting curious. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Between this week and next week, that is your adventure challenge, folks. Go ahead to the emotional security quiz. Tell me which profile you're in. DM me at Empowered with Nina on Instagram. I will respond. It's really me on the other end. Surprise. Hopefully not a surprise, okay? That's all I got for you this week, folks. Between this week and next week, you've got your adventure challenge, should you choose to accept it. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.